I've been painting these blue-haired girls in my little sketchbook or doodle book where I also paint recently, and I have the paint left on my little palette, and I thought, why not also make a painted postcard today with a little greeting? I'm going to make it a mixed media project, so using pens and pencil and a little bit of this and that. So I thought you could come along and make a postcard with me. I'm starting off with the face with just a pencil, and I'm going to make it a simple one so you can follow along and make it yourself. I'm pretty sure you can manage. I'll just talk you through the different steps. I'm working on this silly scrapbook paper that I've had for a while that had different animal prints. I've gessoed over the top side so that I don't have to see the animal prints because I don't like it. I'll just paint on top of this gessoed canvas, and in the end you won't see any of the animal prints. I'm pretty sure of that. So I'm just fashioning some dark eyes and a big nose, and then I'm going to be lettering in the word hey, which is Swedish and means hello. I thought it would be fun to write hey even if the person who I'm sending it to is not Swedish, because I think it's quite obvious what it means, and if not, I'll just explain it on the back. And it's a bit fun to nod to your cultural heritage. And then I'm going to grab my favorite alcoholic marker, super cheap from Tiger, which has these affordable art materials that I like to just bring home and experiment with. And this was a lucky find. I love the color. I love how bright it is. You can't really use it in a sketchbook because it will bleed through, but here on a gessoed thicker canvas paper you can definitely do it. And then I'm going to go in with some acrylic paint and paint clearly. I'm not aiming to create a masterpiece that you will want to frame in the Louvre, but I'm doing something fun. I'm starting with her little nose, or her big nose, I don't know. Maybe she has a cold, maybe she has a passion for something, and it shows in her blushing cheeks and her red nose. I don't know. I just love how it looks. I started dabbling in these kind of unrealistic portraits a couple of years ago, and the more I make them, the more I find my own style and the things I like to add. Right now, I'm really into this kind of deep, well, charcoal eyes that this girl got. Of course, you can do a girl with big eyelashes and more detailed eyes, or a nose that is super cute and girly. But that's not what I wanted with this girl. I wanted her to look like a little bit of a cartoon. So that's what I'm trying to achieve with that big red nose, for example. And then we're gonna continue to do some more fun stuff with her and the lettering. But first, let me open a brand new pack of paint brushes just to switch my tool up a bit. I'm going to be grabbing one of these. They're just cheap hobby brushes that I got from a store recently, but I love them so much. I mean, look at the transparent handles and the softness of the brushes. I bought this one a couple of years ago because of the handle that is transparent plastic as well, but it was so coarse and so bad I had to throw them out one by one. It was a package like this one. So I'm hoping these will be better, and as far as I can tell, the bristles are a lot softer and they feel like more quality than the cheap ones I had previously. So I'm gonna toss that, the last one that you saw there as well, and just try these glitter ones out. They're so pretty. So let's just paint the letter and then the background. I'm mixing in white and my light blue here to get a little bit of a nice sky behind her, and I'm also going to color her dress in with a metallic green. And I'm gonna keep adding to the background just to make it more interesting. I'm not gonna add any houses or trees or anything else except the lettering and the girl, so I want the overall background to be interesting. And as you can see, the metallic in it just shines so pretty when you shift the card around in the light. I love how that looks. And since I opted for a blue background this time, which was quite by chance actually, I'm not gonna make her hair light blue as I did on the two previous girls that you saw in my sketchbook in the beginning of the video. I'm gonna make it purple because why not? I had some purple poured out and I'm mixing it with my white because I always love adding a bit of white to these sheep colors. It makes them a little bit less transparent, so it covers a bit better. And also I love the color of pastels, so a white is always good on my palette. And then I'm gonna color her face a couple of times and in different ways. Colors wasn't really happy at first with the pink, so I'm trying to make the shadows less pink later on. But before we continue with the face, we're gonna do some more lettering or coloring of the letters. So I'm bringing a Posca pen. This is apricot, and I'm gonna color the E yellow. And at first it didn't seem to want to cooperate, but when you work with the pens a bit and you push it, the paint starts to flow and it covers the background beautifully, even if it's this light color. And now we're adding another yellow because yellow is so pretty. So this is a lighter yellow, and as you can see, it didn't really cooperate either, and you should always press it on a paper away from your artwork so it doesn't splatter all over. But once you do push the nib in these Posca pens, the paint starts to flow better, as you can see. And yeah, I love how it looks. So now then, when everything is dry, you can go in and add as many or as few details as you want to. This is where you can sit and fiddle with a painting for hours, adding little details, removing them with paint, altering your postcard in any way you see fit. You can add tattoos to the face, you can add shadows, you can just play around with your materials. I love this part and how the personality of the little portrait that you painted comes out. And some of the last step is to do some outlining. I'm doing it first with a pencil and then I'm gonna do it again later on with a black marker. I love just pouring out a lot of different pens and pencils on my desk that I know will work with the acrylics and just play, just grabbing the ones that feel interesting at the moment and adding in little details. I love adding freckles. I'm not going to do it on this girl, but I added polka dots to her dress with that neon green gel pen, and I think it looks adorable. And of course, some white is always good for some highlights in the face and the eyes if you feel like the light is hitting her face in some different ways. Then just playing with her halo and some highlights in her hair, just to give it some structure. It's not going to be realistic at all, but just to make it interesting and to try it out for myself, I'm adding in some marks. And after I've played with that, my final step, like I've already mentioned, is to add some black to do the outlines of the letters and as well as the face. and a dress. This is something that you should do really slowly so it looks good, because the black is really black. You can use a lighter color like a gray or a blue if you don't want it to be really as visible and messy, because I think mine looked a bit messy, so I had to go in and fiddle with it quite a bit before I was happy. But that's okay, I have time. I'm not gonna send this postcard just yet because it's part of the DIY postcard swap that I host. I don't know if you have ever been to my blog or if you're new to me. Let me just tell you, the swap has been going on twice every year for more than 10-15 years maybe, and it's super fun. There is a bit of a fee to join, but once you do that, you get a deadline to create 10 DIY postcards, and then you will be sent the addresses to 10 people all around the world, most of them in the US, but some might be in Europe, Asia, Australia, or anywhere else in the world that you can think of. We have had so many fun people joining. Mixed media is our game, I guess, but there's no rules for what you can put on your postcard. Maybe you're inspired to paint a little girl like mine. And I'm just going to be decorating my letters a bit as well before we end this, because I thought they looked a little bit plain and polka dots just makes me happy. So that's why I'm adding them. So anyway, if you feel like you want to make postcards right now, you're more than welcome to check my blog out and read up about the rules and maybe even signing up. If you don't want to sign up this round for the autumn, you can sign up for the newsletter and you will be notified when I start it up again in the spring. I hope you will check it out because it's my big offering of the year for the creative community, and it's a favorite project for a lot of returning people that likes to do postcards and get some happy mail. Thank you so much for watching, giving this video a thumbs up, and maybe even checking out some other postcard videos that I've posted before, like the one where I made a collage of images from an old calendar or some decoupage from napkins. Thanks again for watching and giving this video a thumbs up. You're awesome. Have a creative day, and bye for now.